introduce the Buckmaster Show to the three Republican candidates who are newcomers to politics but are running for 3 council seats. We are today going to talk with Ward 4 candidate Margaret Burkholder. Margaret is a math teacher at La Paloma Academy. She served 10 years as a Vail School District Governing Board member, including 2 years as the board president and 6 years as board clerk. Did I get that right, Margaret?
Correct.
And in fact, you have a meeting tonight, right?
Yep.
At Vail. First of all, good to see you, and thank you for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
To talk a little bit about your candidacy. You are challenging the longtime incumbent Democrat, Shirley Scott. So why did you decide to go for this office?
Well, because I love my city and I love my family and I want my family to have a future here in this city. And let me digress just a second. I have to say, I mean, your opening was talking about Silver City and Grant County. That's where I graduated from college and where I met my husband.
How about
Was
that?
at Western
I had
New
no
Mexico.
idea,
No,
but that is a wonderful segue. And the people over in Silver City will be very glad to hear. We send a lot of Buckmaster Show listeners over there. I mean, it's a great getaway, and a lot of people in Tucson.
4 mild seasons.
Yeah.
It is a wonderful place to live. My dad still has property over there.
Wow.
And so my husband and I, we met in college. And of course, he was a Tucsonan. So when we got married, I came back to Tucson. So Tucson has been my home for 20 years now.
Wow.
And I love this. I mean, I'd have to say, this is some of our hardest weather that we're going through.
Yeah, this is kind of the difficult time of year.
This is, but I see the clouds starting to form in the southern border, and I'm excited about our monsoons coming. It's always a favorite time of mine.
So did you go to school over at Western?
I did. I went to school at Western. I graduated from high school in Sierra Vista. My mom was a civil servant on Fort Huachuca. And then my mom was going to be moving to Georgia, and I loved the Southwest. I wanted to stay. So when I was a sophomore, I transferred to Western New Mexico University and then let my mom move to the East Coast, and I stayed here and met John, and the rest is history.
Yeah, and folks who have not been over to Silver City, check out Western. That is really a neat little campus.
It is. It's a beautiful campus.
It really is a beautiful
campus. It's the size of some of Tucson's high schools. And that's what I love, is that you know the people that are on campus, and it's about relationships and building those friendships that last a lifetime. So. And
you would like to build relationships right now with potential voters.
Absolutely. So I want to be able to talk a little bit about me and why you should vote for me for city council.
And why should people vote for you?
Yeah, I was the year I graduated from Western, I was the only woman to graduate with a degree in mathematics. And my first love was not mathematics. I love history, I love writing, I love reading. But one of my history professors gave me some great advice. He says, Margaret, we need good math teachers. So I came, and at Palo Verde High School, I did my student teaching to be a high school math teacher. And that has been my career, and it's definitely the right fit for me, because I realize there's challenges in life, and we just have to get past those challenges if we want to get to success. And for me, it was being able to challenge myself, to break out of my comfort zone, and to do well in a subject that was challenging for, I think, many Americans would agree.
Well, what's wrong with the incumbent who's currently serving in Ward 4?
Not willing to take on the challenges that this city has. We have a budget problem. If you look, what are the top issues for most Tucsonans? I'd say most Tucsonans are frustrated with their roads, they're frustrated with all the empty businesses, and they're frustrated by the lack of job opportunities for them and for their children. And all 3 of those come back down to the budget. How is the budget being allocated? We have a $1.4 billion budget. It's hard to argue that there's not enough money to fix the roads and to pay our police and our firefighters. It's hard to argue that. So how are we budgeting? And people have asked, what's wrong? And I'm very much, let's go back and look at the data. Let's not look at symptoms. Let's go back and look at the disease to figure out how we're going to treat this. Tucson has one of the largest the number of nonprofits per capita of any city in the United States.
I think it may have more than any of the per capita.
Per capita. Yeah. Which, what does that say about Tucson? That we are a loving, caring city. We want to take care of our neighbors. So we have to take care of our neighbors, but first, if I want to take care of my neighbors and if I want to give, first I have to have my family in order. and then I can give. Put my finances in order and then give. So we have so many nonprofits that are going out to the few benefactors in our community, all vying for the same dollars. We really need to grow that community of wealth in our city. You know, we're the 5th poorest city in the country. We are the poorest county. Pima County is the poorest county in Arizona. We need to grow wealth and viability in our own families. Let's look at the family level. How can we grow strong middle-class families that can all give to those that are less fortunate, and to give the issues that are important to them?
Excuse me, Margaret, but how does your experience on the school board translate to what could be you on the council?
It's very much, I've realized the importance of leadership. I've realized the importance of looking at data to make decisions and having to be courageous in making those decisions. So I work with Mr. Calvin Baker, who's the superintendent in Vail, and I would argue he's the best superintendent in Arizona and even best in the country. I'd make that argument. And we've had lots of conversations about leadership at the school level and what needs to happen. We have great people who work in our district, but there are times that it's not the right fit, that you're just not the right person for this job, and we have to make those difficult decisions and move leaders so that our schools are performing. So I very much look at the data, look at the achievement data, look at how many teachers are coming and going in different schools, and say, hey, is this caused by leadership, and what changes do we need to make? And there are times that I've made votes that did not make me very popular with a group of parents, and you'll find out I'm very honest, and I'll just speak forthright. I said to a family, if I were in your circumstances, I would be as angry and frustrated as you are. I get it. But I have to make decisions based on what's best for the whole district, not what's best for a handful of families.
Margaret Burkholder is with this candidate, Republican candidate in Ward 4. Vail wasn't always the top school district.
No, it wasn't. When I was elected to the board 10 years ago, I'm serving my 3rd term. When I was elected 10 years ago, we were ranked 50th. We were very average. And we made some very intentional decisions between the superintendent, the school leadership, and the 5 board members. And we said, we are going to measure our success by the success of our students. Okay, that's our goal. We know we're successful when our students are successful. Then the second piece was, how do you what are those benchmarks? What are going to push us to that? And it was very clear. We said we're going to address 3rd grade reading and 8th grade mathematics. We're going to use those as benchmarks. If kids aren't reading by 3rd grade, the data is very clear that they're going to continue to fall behind. So we've got to invest resources in those first 4 years of school. And then we also know if kids aren't successful in 8th grade mathematics, are they going to be successful in high school mathematics? And that's very much a gate, whether it's allowing kids to attend college or not college, or even graduate now with the number of math credits that students need. We knew that those were the areas we had to invest in. And then obviously we made some more choices, but it really came down to those decisions that were most important, and we saw the results.
So the priorities, you talked a little bit earlier about what the priorities, you would have to reevaluate priorities for the city of Tucson.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And what would be at the top of the priority?
Priorities.
Of tops.
We have to.
Priorities.
If we're going to reprioritize the pie, we also need to be talking about making the pie, the budget, bigger. Right. And the only way to make the budget bigger, in my opinion, is to grow business and to grow the median income. So for me, I would look at success if our median income in Tucson grows. That would be a marker for success. Do we have more businesses moving and growing within our community, able to hire more people and pay them more money? And then those people in turn purchase things, and that sales tax is what drives our revenue.
Okay, Margaret Burkholder, where can people find out more about your campaign?
Our website is TucsonWins.com, and you can find me on Facebook at Margaret for Tucson.
Okay, Margaret, thank you very much. Nice meeting you.
Thank you so much.